Normally, I'm filled with a little bit of trepidation when I see a church because I don't know what kind of horrors await inside the thing, but... So you actually get invaded by... what the f*** is his name? Festering Fingerprint Vike? I don't know, man. It says right here I should be looking for, like, a dragon to be guarding the key or something, but I don't see a Ah. Well, I don't know, man. He's sleeping so peacefully. You know, secretly, I think that Miyazaki knew that people would discover a foot fetish during the Ranala fight, and, my friends, it is respect time. But before that, we need a wardrobe change. Oh, yeah. I'm getting good dodges in. I got this, man. I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna beat General Radahn. I just gotta dodge this one final attack, and then I'll... What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Croc of Squirtles, back with another Elden Ring video and more of the usual stuff. You know, like, me not practicing guitar as much as I should because I'm slowly losing interest as a result of having lessons 3 days a week and dedicating 3 days every single week to nothing but the guitar as soon as I get home from work. I don't know, you would think, like, having lessons all the time would make me more interested, but I guess my brain is, like, backwards or something. But anyways, on the flip side, a couple weeks back, I got a new camera, so hopefully you should be seeing my first guitar cover on the channel soon. I'm using that as motivation to practice more, and that is a goal of mine, is to upload a bunch of covers and just make that part of the channel. Anyways, today's episode, it's good. It's going to be a pretty good one, man. I finished Ranni's questline. And there's a bunch of other stuff that I'll probably wind up editing out because that's just what this YouTube thing is like at this point. I just edit out like 90% of the stuff that I recorded, but hopefully it's entertaining. That's all it comes down to. And if not, then just remember that you are the reason that I will be crying myself to sleep tonight. Alright, no more talking. Let's go. Let's just get right into it. Just look at the Lake of Rot. What do you think it smells like? Cat piss? A wet dumpster? Your mom's used tampons? All of those are valid answers, to be honest. Now, word of advice. Even though this area sucks something awful, usually when an area is this bad, there's usually some good upgrade materials around. I know everyone's been here by now, but this was my first time really just being in here and seeing it for myself, so it was honestly only a matter of time before my dumbass died to the Scarlet Rot. Just the natural way of things. Now, this fight against these two Italian Crystallians is probably a good time for me to tell you why I was using the Mimic Tier Ashes. And it's probably a good time to tell you that I'm going to be using the Mimic Tier in, like, every boss fight for the rest of the playthrough. My controller was still broken at the time. I didn't bother getting a new one yet. And so I was trying to play Elden Ring with a janky left analog stick and a B button that either would not let me roll, or it would let me roll so much that my local baker would try to offer me a job. I'm so sorry. That joke was terrible. Yeah. And at this point, you know, it's like almost at the end of July right now. As I'm recording this, I still haven't even beaten Millennia yet, so I'm so far behind, okay? I just need to beat this game at this point. But the reason why I was fighting that fight was so I could get to the Terra Magica spell, so I could fully commit to being an intelligence build nerd. And at some point, I do want to get, like, every sorcery and spell. After further review, I have deemed the Lake of Rot to be lower on my totem pole than Caelid. It smells ungodly, my clothing is ruined, and now it even burns when I pee. Sounds like a typical Vegas trip if I'm being honest. Now, if the DMCA laws on YouTube weren't so cringe, I'd probably be playing like Into the Void by Black Sabbath right now as I climb into the coffin. Alright boys, cosmic anal bead times. Now, if you're an astute observer, you might say that I was in fact not ready for Astel. Now, regardless of whether or not I had a broken controller, I think this boss fight showed me that sometimes I really just have to tap out and look up a guide on how to beat a specific boss. I died so many times and learned next to nothing. The only attack that I can for certain say that I learned how to dodge is Astel's beam attack that he usually does when you first walk into the arena. That's about it. Now, considering this particular recording file that I was editing was titled, First Astel Attempts All Failed, I think it's safe to say that I will not be beating him, or her, until later in the video. But this is probably the best go at it that I had up until this point, and I think it's worth showing off somewhat. At this point, I decided that I was honestly just wanting to finish out the game ASAP. I mean, it's like I said before, so I said screw it. I was just going to call in Tyrone. I was just going to do it every boss fight until the end of the game, and that's just the way it is. You can call me a sucker, you can call me a bitch, you can call me whatever you want, you can say I have no skill or whatever. I do not care. Time is money, my friends. Or in this case, my time is like getting 30 views on my videos. But 30 is more than 20, 20 is more than 10, and 10 is more than 0, so quick maths, I'll take it. It's better than getting no views on my videos. After taking about a week-long break from Elden Ring, I decided to head to the Jersey Shore once I got back so I could go through that cave that leads to the Church of Dragon Communion. There's a lot of Limgrave stuff that I missed, and that's one of them. I took a brief respite and paused to pay homage to my fellow turtle brethren. and then I went on my merry way. Look, I'm gonna be honest, Chief. I feel bad for what I did to these demi-humans. I was so over-leveled, and they didn't deserve to go out like that. They just didn't. I made it to the church and did absolutely nothing because I'm not doing a dragon incantation build. Not yet, at least. And this is where I also started Yura's questline, because I decided that I wanted to get every katana in the game, for one, and I also wanted to get Eleanor's pole blade, which I didn't know that you can get without doing Yura's questline, but, you know. So I think Yura might be my favorite NPC character, even though the dude walks around looking like a helmet that looks like a cut from a bra from the 1950s. This dude devotes his entire life to just killing, chilling, and killing some more scumbag Tarnish that go after other Tarnish people. This dude is the equalizer. Straight up. No cap. On jaw. For real, for real. I went into some catacombs, beat the ever-loving piss out of a grade warden duelist. It ain't nothing but a G thing, except this G is way too over-leveled to be bragging about something like this. Hey, yo, these dudes are getting freaky deaky over here, man. Am I even allowed to show this, or am I gonna have to censor this? Bruh, I'm not gonna lie, I think I need to bleach my eyeballs now. Yo, look at homie over here giving that Michelin star sloppy toppy. So at this point, I decided to finish out Yura's questline because there wasn't really that much for me to do besides travel to a few of his, you know, spawn locations and exhaust dialogue at this point. I had to do one invasion with him. I already beat Flying Dragon Aghill at this point, so all I had to do was just speak to him a bunch of times and then just seek out the Second Church of America. Now, unfortunately for Yura, this is where his story ends because he managed to get beat by a woman in combat. Absolute L, by the way. But as a result of his loss, we get his Nagakiba, and if we beat Eleonora, we get her pole blade and a crystal tear. But yeah, Eleanor fought well. She did. She fought pretty well, but she was no match for me. And to pay tribute to our fellow warrior, I left a sign commemorating his life and displaying what an absolute Chad that he is. I then found some catacombs where a weakened Black Knife assassin was just chilling in the boss room. Now, if I remember right, these were some of the catacombs in Limgrave, so of course I was just way too powerful for them at this point. I was excited to see what was in the chest at the back of the boss room, but nah, I'm just kidding. That death root is actually exactly what I was looking for. Now, I had to kill a kayaking yuppie to get another one. Then I got the bright idea to get the talisman that I should have gotten from the very start, dude. I don't know why I didn't think of doing this before. More of my brethren. May you all have lives of peace and prosperity. I don't know why I didn't get the green turtle talisman before. I mean, for some reason, I thought you couldn't get it until, like, very late in the game. But no matter, I am now one step closer to becoming one with my turtle brethren. Say, do you guys remember the Falling Star Beast from a couple episodes ago? Pepperidge Farm remembers. I stopped caring about my dignity at some point because, like I said, I just wanted to get through the game at this point, and it's very hard to be an Elden Ring content creator when everyone else is doing videos about challenge runs that involve them beating the game, and I'm over here like not even halfway through my first save file up until this point. Jealousy? Envy? Maybe, but I will never admit to it. Now, the rock candy boss is weak to gravity spells, funnily enough, so I sat back and just spammed rock sling enough times until his life points hit 0. Now, the reason why I came back was 1, for bragging rights, 2, for that somber smithing stone bell bearing. That's a mouthful. So obviously my plan is I want to get to a point where I have all the bell bearings, so before I go into New Game Plus, I can just have everything at my disposal and just buy a shit ton of the smithing stones. Now, remember how a couple videos ago I mentioned that there was a really important boss fight in the Aeonian Swamp and I was just goofing off and playing with my dinghy? Well, I was talking about Commander O'Neill. And you know what? I didn't feel like fighting him, so I decided to go back to my Call of Duty days as a camper and just laser his ass from a light year away. I quickly decided that it would be way faster if I just went on down there and beat his ass with my Moonveil like a true gamer. Now, O'Neill is one of the most trivial bosses in the game because you can literally just, get the geysers to blow him to smithereens if you wanted to. Anyways, it didn't take me too long to take him out, and now I have the unalloyed gold needle, so it allows me to distribute Narcan to the crackheads walking around Philly. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's something I'll leave up to the first responders. Once you go to Gowrie to fix the needle, taking it to Millicent in the Church of the Plague allows you to actually start her questline. Takes a long time, stretches to the endgame to the Halig tree, but it is well worth the effort, man. I held up my end of the bargain and gave Millicent the needle, but instead of getting on her feet, she just passed out. Damn. So this is how women feel after we bust in less than a minute. I mean, all you have to do is just rest out of sight of Grace and reload the game, and then she'll be up and at 'em. And unlike my first girlfriend, she actually knows how to initiate and hold a conversation for more than 30 seconds. I also realized at this point in Gowrie Shack that she could use a bit of I went back to Kayla to fight Prince Philip because at this point I felt like I'd seen enough of his moves and I was pretty confident that I could beat him. What was he gonna do? Steal my spices? I'm white. I ain't got any. Yeah, things were going pretty good. I was of course still prone to the occasional fuck up. But I was using a controller that was about as useful as tits on a bull for most of this playthrough, and it's a miracle that I was even able to dodge attacks when I pressed the B button. I was whooping his black blade bussy around the burrow though. The only problem is when I got hit by an attack, it was pretty much borderline night-night for me, and then unfortunately, it was really night-night when my stupid ass just sat there and watched my enemy swan dive into me at Mach 4. But then I had the bright idea to use the portal behind the Third Church of Marika because it spawns you right behind him. Time for the big brain strats, boys. This is what you came here for. Wow, Grail's Dragon Burrow. This is really familiar. Oh, what a coinky-dink. I happen to be standing directly behind a Blackblade Kindred, and he doesn't know I'm here. Alright, I'll just put this down on the ground right here for 1 second. Then I'll make a phone call and hit up Tyrone to come down here and help me out. You know, normally he takes a while to get ready, though. And then I'll just whip out the Glock. And then I'll hit him with the... Look, I ain't gonna lie. I was using Tyrone as a meat shield, and I just watched him get his ass beat for about a minute until I could get my honky ass down there to help my boy out. I took a shot to the chin. Not that kind, you pervert. And then I dodged the leg sweep, and I watched this dummy teleport through a wall and then get blocked by the same wall. Unfortunately, Tyrone got sent to Canadian hell by the Black Blade, so I was now mono e bono with Prince Philip. The loss of my companion and little bro must have ignited something in me because I opened up a can of whoop ass after that. Bobby Boucher ain't got shit on me, bro. Everyone knows the story of when the Mud Dogs came back at halftime to win the Bourbon Bowl. But do you remember when Flock of Turtles reached enlightenment and suddenly morphed into a beast at Elden Ring? Now, my life flashed before my eyes for a brief second when Prince Philip went for the attack that killed Tyrone, but unlike Tyrone's goofy ass, I was actually able to dodge it. No disrespect to T-Man, but sometimes his brain is in, like, second gear, and I don't know what to do to help that man. I thought I was about to choke at the last second, but in the end, everything was fine and dandy unless your name is Blackblade Kindred. I only took 2 hits that attempt, too. Damn, that was pretty good. Just about a minute or two ago, there was a big, scary, tough guy over there, and now he's gone all of a sudden. Gee. I wonder what happened to him. The weapons you get from killing the Blackblade Kindred and Caelid are pretty cool and have a nice looking, you know, Ashes of War and skills, but the only problem is holy damage sucks ass, especially late game. It's about as useful as the warning labels on packages of Benadryl. Like, bro, what do you mean I can't take more than 2 pills right now? Like, I'm literally trying to see the Hat Man in the corner right now. I've been lonely and I could use some company. For legal reasons, that is a joke. Do not overdose yourself on allergy medication, you asshole. Anyways, that was the avatar that drops the magic, shrouding, and lightning cracked here. Just thought I would throw that in. I went back to the Albinoric village so I could talk to the average Reddit user and get the first half of the Haligtree medallion. Little did I know at the time that Haligtree is pretty much just Death Ant Simulator. I wanted to go back to Selvis's Rise to see if I could do anything else to advance his questline, and this dumbass went and got killed. I mean, shit, he's dead. It's not like he needs his clothes anymore. Might as well take him, you know what I'm saying? I was feeling really motivated that day to get Ranni's questline done, and Astel is obviously the final roadblock. I had a few attempts again in the second round, but melee skills were just evading me, so I sped up this winning attempt, and this is such a Weenie Hut Jr. moment of gameplay, and I do apologize for what you're currently seeing. Rock Sling turned out to be one of my favorite spells because you can just stun everyone in a couple of hits. And the fight is basically me just spamming Rock Sling at Astel's forehead until his health bar went to 0. I've played Pokemon quite a bit in my day, and I guess that means I won the fight. And yeah, I play on Xbox. What are you gonna do? Nothing. Exactly. There's always something extra that this goddamn game is making me do. So I went back to Renala's library to grab the Dark Moon Simp Ring, and then I took the lift back up from the Deep Ainsel Well. And then I stepped out onto the Moonlight Altar. This is where I started nerding out again from that deep feeling of discovery that I've had so many times with this game, man. I'm not gonna be maidenless anymore, boy. I just gotta get to that church.
Hello, motherfucker.
So yeah, I think needless to say, I think I discovered where Adula disappeared to in the last video. I was not prepared for this encounter in any way, shape, or form, and yeah, it's probably pretty obvious. Rip Bozo, dude got clapped by a mythical creature, absolute L. Now at some point I decided that Adula was simply better at the game than me, so I just ran past him into the cathedral. There's a ton of Starlight Shards here too, but too bad Selvis is dead now. I made it down to the base of the cathedral where I found my future wife resting upon the corpse of the 2 fingers that she just sliced up and left in a bloody heap. Honestly, under normal circumstances that would be a red flag, but hey, sometimes the best women have a couple of screws loose. I mean, boy, I can't wait to see the look on Varay's expressionless face next time I see him. I mean, Varay's goofy ass probably hasn't been in contact with any coochie since he got shot out the womb. Now, after I put a ring on it, Ranni left me probably the greatest wedding gift that anyone could ever receive. Now, to finish everything off and completely tie off the loose ends of Ranni's quest, you have to go whack Blythe. Honestly, killing Blythe is probably the saddest part about all this. Then again, that's what you get for dedicating your life to simping for a woman. But hey, even though it's a sad ending for our furry friend, at least I got a cool new sword and some nice armor for my LARPing sessions. I mean, that's a trade I'll take any day of the week. You know, me not being maidenless in Elden Ring anymore got me really thinking like, damn. Maybe I should really text her. We interrupt this program to bring you White Mask Vray cries like a baby back bitch. After I showed Vray who his daddy was and spanked him around a little bit, I made it to the next site of grace and began preparing for Mohg, Lord of Blood. I had no idea what kind of difficulty was awaiting me, but I looked up a boss guide beforehand so I could get an idea of when to use the purifying tier, and obviously I wasn't going to go into the fight without knowing something about his moveset. However, I had the bright idea of trying to take on all of the enemies in front of the lift, and you can probably guess what happened to me. The cutscene transition in the Mohg's fight, probably one of my favorites to be honest. Looks very nice, very atmospheric. Mohg himself, this dude is creepy as hell because he wants to marry his little fucking brother. I didn't have much of a plan going into the fight, so I figured just getting some initial damage with the great bow was a good idea. Unfortunately, this is really when I started to feel like, you know, the shitty controller I was using. I had no chance to dodge his attacks anyway because I didn't really know them, but regardless, I couldn't dodge him anyway because I would try to do one roll and I roll like 37 times instead. Like, I might as well just title this video Mohg Death Compilation. Like, I died so many times I thought I was going to need a trip to the mental institution. And the first time I got him down to phase 2, I was even more pissed because I thought that the purifying tier also kept him from regenerating health during his nihil attack. That would have been nice to know. Now, needless to say, that didn't lift my mood or help me focus on the fight once I figured that out. And it got me to the point where I said, screw it. Tyrone is just coming in on every single attempt. I'm not even going to bother trying to fight him on my own. I got killed in 2 hits! I can't even look Tyrone in the eyes now. Now, do you really want to know how long I spent fighting him in this, like, batch of attempts? Not 1. Not 2, not 3, actually yes 3. 3 whole hours of my life were dedicated to getting my ass spanked, my body shanked, my heart twisted, and my nuts shifted. That was a whack-ass rhyme, dude. That was like a Jack Harlow verse, oh my god. Now, it was at this point, I just had to accept that I was just not very good at Mohg yet, and I had to re-evaluate my game plan and come up with a way to just cheese him, honestly. Now, the easy solution was to just buy a new controller, but I'm very impatient, and I also just wanted to beat Elden Ring at this point, so I could just start doing other things, like challenge runs and whatnot. Maybe I did want to have the broken controller as an excuse and a failsafe to explain why I was sucking ass against Mohg. I had one thing in mind, and you're probably going to see it in the next video. So, side note, I had no idea that the somber ancient dragon smithing stone was in here, and I may or may not have started giggling like a little bitch from absolute gamer happiness when I found it. But, yeah, I mean, before I let you go, I haven't done a checkpoint in a while, so here it is. Level 86 like a crackhead and basically 50 hours in at this point. Alright, boys, another successful Elden Ring video in the books. Now, before I head out, I just want to ask that if you like what you saw from me today, consider subscribing to the channel, as it's probably the best way to help me out at this point and to help my little community grow. As for the returning viewers, thank you all so much for sticking around. The views are steadily climbing with each new video, and it's really encouraging for me to see. Now, for the new viewers, I really hope that I did you a good service and entertain you for a little bit, because that's honestly what my main goal is and what I strive for. More Elden Ring in the future, more guitar videos in the future, so stick around if you want to see more or either of those. Thanks for watching, and hopefully, I'll see you guys again. See you next time.